Didn't even check to see what we look like sitting down.
There's a lot of headroom.
There is. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Check-In. I feel like we just did this 24 hours ago.
We did.
Oh, that's why. I'm Sara Lesky. He's Jamie Thomas. Wouldn't you know, 24 hours ago, we were talking about how the Jets needed to break the winless streak.
Yeah.
And here we are again, still talking about it. Another loss for the Jets last night, unbelievably, against the Edmonton Oilers. We will break all of that down and get you set up for tonight's game against the LA Kings as they finish 3 games in 4 nights. But quickly,
on home ice.
Home ice. Yes. Let's take a listen to post-game comments last night.
Talked a lot about the details needing to be a little bit better. Second, the late goal in the second period, another example. What's going to take to kind of break that cycle?
Those are things that I've said to you before about moments. 30 seconds left. They got the 2 of the best players in the world on the ice, and we give up a 3-on-2. Can't do that.
Neil had said, the turn in the game, from basically the second period on, was he sees it as being mental. Can mental explain the way that game turned?
I think we're all getting mental right now in the sense of it's in everybody's head, but at the end of the day, we have a job to do. We have to play. Our best players have to be our best players in a game like that. Our role players have to play their role. I don't care what the scenario is. You're out on the ice. You're playing a game, something you've done your whole life. We're in a situation like that. However you go about it, you got to find a way. You got to find a way to get yourself over the hump. We got to find a way to get ourselves over the hump. We're so close, but at the end of the day, then we shoot ourselves in the foot in those moments that kind of happen in the game.
Did you guys kind of get away from what you were doing in the first period and not through the final 40 minutes?
Yeah, well, I think we played a good 40 minutes, to be honest. That late one at the end of the second is kind of a killer. We weren't able to get momentum back. I think we played a pretty simple game those first 40 minutes and kind of got away from it.
Yeah, we just sat on our heels, and at this point, I think it's mental, so we got to overcome that tomorrow.
And would that be the explanation for the tough time putting together the full 60-minute games? You think it's just a full-on mental thing?
Yeah, it's a lot of mental mistakes by all of us. So look to regain our confidence tomorrow.
After the call. Oh, yeah.
So that was some of your best work. Thank you guys for your no audio. Thank you. I turned it back on. Usually when the audio plays, it turns off back on automatically.
You know what? It's okay. We're all tired today. Let's be honest.
We're
sitting down.
I'm like way too relaxed sitting down. Yes. I feel like this is like a breakfast television show or something like that.
Fine.
So yeah. Sorry. I know you wanted to sit down. Yeah. Thank you, Matthew. It is a Jamie.
For it.
You don't even know what's been going on before this.
Yeah, seriously. We're lucky that we're here. Okay, so quick thoughts on the game last night.
Well, Mitchell Clinton's going to join us momentarily
to
help us go through this, but we're going to go over a lot of things. I thought on the Josh Morrissey goal that did the ping pong thing and ended up in the net, I'm like, tonight's the night.
Yeah.
Calvin Pickard stopped them 41 times last time they played. They scored 3 goals in the first period. I'm like, oh my gosh, they're on their way.
Yeah.
And then I thought, and you'll hear a lot of people going with this as well, that goal by Connor McDavid at the end of the second period, kind of that just started the downhill slide from there. So I understand people's frustrations, but I mean, when things are going bad, they just continue to work against your favor. So there was nothing wrong with their effort, but Dylan DeMello said today that they're playing not to lose.
Right.
And you can tell that sometimes.
They had 5 shots in the final 2 periods. They went almost a full hour of real time without a shot. They had 3 shots in the second period.
Yeah.
And exactly what you said, that Calvin Pickard was not the Calvin Pickard of December 29th.
No.
And you get those 3 goals on them in the first period, and then you stop putting pucks on the net.
Yeah.
Like in Edmonton, it's not as if, and
they're almost too much defending because they're just like not pushing the pace at all.
Well, and Edmonton it's not like Edmonton is a defensive juggernaut.
No.
Where you're looking for it. Not to take away. I mean, they continued to gain steam as the game went on, certainly, but you just, in those situations, you can't go 5 goals. It's similar to Vegas. Carter Hart was shaky, didn't challenge him enough. from my opinion. But
Yeah, no, that's a legit opinion. Here to bring some optimism, as he always
Okay.
does.
You know what? And a lot of you in the chat are bringing optimism
Yeah.
too. And I think that's tremendous. You're
Yeah.
at 11-game winless streak. Look, and there's so many of you that are saying that, yes, we are all tired today.
Yeah, my throat is sore from all my yelling. That's fair too.
But
Yeah.
so many of you saying, okay, you know that the drought is going to end at some point. And so hopefully it is tonight against the LA Kings.
Yeah. And Mitch was there. Look what he did. We offended him. Anyways, we'll get back to Mitch here in a second. Yeah, there was, I could see Daniel Zilkin looked good last night. Didn't get to play a whole lot because of the fact that McDavid and Draisaitl are consistently coming over the board, sometimes together. It's an annoying factor whenever the Oilers are trailing. They
always, Chris Knobloch, I mean, the number of line combinations that he has used is obscene throughout the year. But we always know that when they are down, what is his go-to? And understandably so, you put Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid together.
Yep. And we always like to put Mitchell Clinton together as well. So here he is for sure this time. Boom. There he is.
Part of our Jets TV crew.
Right. We were just talking about
back in the day.
The alumni when we all get together one day, all four of us.
Being the three of us and Darren Millard.
Yeah. People were asking where you were the other day when we had the alumni show. So you're always being thought of at all times. As a guy that has been watching all these games happen, where did you feel things turned last night with the Jets and the Oilers?
Well, the shot attempts would tell you that, partway through the second period, things kind of started to change. I mean, Winnipeg went, nearly a full period without a shot on goal. But for me, it really wasn't until the second goal, the final minute, just because, at that point, it was a script that Winnipeg had been through a few times. And I remember saying on the broadcast going into the intermission before we, turned it over to Kelly Moore in the panel for the intermission, just that, okay, Winnipeg as a team has been here before. The lessons, we'll see if they've been learned. Are they able to come out and play on their toes? And I think we've heard from Adam Lowry today. We've heard from Dylan DeMello today. I mean, Neil Pionk, as you guys had off the start of the show, just kind of talked about how, they got to the same spot and it almost feels like you're playing not to lose, which sounds like an easy mental adjustment, but it just isn't. It's just not how the human brain works. You get yourself back into that spot. And I understand these guys are paid millions on millions of dollars and whatnot, but they still have a human brain. And as soon as you get yourself back into that position, sometimes you start to think of all the bad things. And regardless of, what your body wants to do, sometimes mentally you just put yourself into that safe space, which I feel like Winnipeg ended up doing. And in the NHL, that sometimes in the third period can only translate into giving maybe another foot of space to somebody. And that's all someone like Connor McDavid or Leon Draisaitl, Zach Hyman, that power play especially. That's all the space that they need to make something happen. So for me, it was kind of late in that second period when you saw that goal happen, and Winnipeg just wasn't quite on their toes to start the third.
So they go back to the drawing board now as they try to end this and winless in their last 11 games. So in your mind, Mitch, where do they start when you go back to the drawing board?
Well, the thing is, and you mentioned the word the start. Winnipeg's starts have actually been great. I mean, early on, as you guys know, it was the starts that were kind of plaguing Winnipeg because they'd fall behind 2-0 or 3-0. Now it's almost the inverse of that, where they're coming out, they're having the phenomenal start, and then it's just a matter of, I mean, you're up 2 goals on Edmonton. Yes, they combine, Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid. As they do, that wouldn't be a surprise to any of the Winnipeg Jets players or the coaching staff. Obviously, they make the adjustment on the back end, changing their defensive pairs just because of the look that they want to go with against that. And you give up that goal, and it's almost like they need to find a way to have that response. And that's not going to be a surprise to them, because in the first period, Winnipeg did have that response. Edmonton ties the game. They come back a minute 14 later and put one past Calvin Pickard, then they put another one past him, and you think, okay, there's the response that they're looking for. And they just didn't have that same level of, I don't know if it's a confidence or same level of assertiveness in the third period to be like, you know what, like, we are fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not exactly ideal to give up that goal again late in the second period, but we're still up a goal in the third period with a chance to put this thing to bed. And Edmonton had their push, of course, which everybody knew was coming, but just weren't able to find a way to get back on that front foot. They're just kind of, when you're going through something like this, you're kind of back on the heels. So I just think it's a matter of finding that ability to have that assertiveness and that aggressiveness in your game, not necessarily to run out of position to make something happen, but stay on your toes, stay aggressive in the terms of, I mean, one play that stands out from the second period was Connor McDavid was picking up some speed, and Mark Scheifele was kind of at the red line and kind of had that moment of, do I step up or do I not? And he stepped up, broke up the play, and Winnipeg was able to attack back into the offensive zone. Didn't see as much of that in the third period because simply you're just trying to hang on as opposed to trying to assert yourself.
Well, when I think of they only had 5 shots over the final 2 periods, but I think there was, at the end of the second period, the Jets had, or right before the McDavid goal, it was Gabe Velarde at the side of the net, made that nifty move around. Pickard thought he was going to score there, didn't score. And then in the third period, when it was 3-3 in the shorthanded situation, Adam Lowry goes in, and I thought he had Pickard beat again. And then you think of Logan Stanley's goal post, and the puck almost went off Pickard and into the net again. So there were moments that it just seems like nothing outside of the Josh Morrissey ping pong goal that is bouncing in their favor right now. Agree?
Well, and that was the second time over the course of these last few games, the Morrissey goal specifically, where I thought, okay, the bounces are turning here.
Yeah.
I mean, you think of the Toronto game and the start that the Maple Leafs had. I mean, they cracked a crossbar, I'm pretty sure, and there was a post. And I'm like, okay, well, over the course of this stretch, those were the ones that were going bar and in. Now they're out. And Winnipeg was able to, build that lead that ultimately they can't hang on to. And yesterday, I kind of had that same feeling when the Morrissey goal went in. I was kind of like, okay, here we go. But unfortunately, it's just, I mean, you mentioned the bounces. A lot of times players will say you have to make your own luck or make your own bounces, whatever it is. Winnipeg's getting those opportunities. And I thought for sure when I saw Adam Lowry drag that puck across and Pickard was out of position,
Yep.
I thought for sure that was going in. And all of a sudden, Adam Lowry's going to sit atop the franchise list
Right.
for goals. And, everything was going to be good. They would once again have that response that they were looking for, because it was 15 seconds after that play that Edmonton comes down and scores.
Yes.
I remember saying on the broadcast, isn't this just summing up how it's been going? Because
Right.
it has the opportunity to grab that momentum back at a key point of the game, and they're not able to do it. And then they had the power play late. They're not able to convert there. And man, you start to wonder what it's going to take. And at this point, I know Winnipeg, has defending as a big part of their identity. They'll take a 1-0 win. They'll take an 8-7 win. It almost doesn't matter how it looks at this point. They'll just happily find any sort of win to kind of end this, and then it's a matter of building from there.
Yeah, I would take that 9-8 win that they had in Philadelphia in the first year,
Sure.
back with the Jets. So, Mitch, appreciate your time, man, and of course your optimism. And we look forward to listening to the broadcast tonight.
Eternally optimistic. That's me.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mitch.
See you, buddy.
See you later.
All right.
Mitch had also messaged to say that we had been muted before.
Yeah.
Everyone watching out for us.
I
That's so
appreciate
nice.
that.
You know what? I was also
It's called the blocking out the Jamie factor. Do we want? Yeah, it is a nice jacket. Thank you very much. This 15-year anniversary. These hats, by the way, still on sale for 30% off.
There you go.
Going in tonight. This one too. All of them. Go ahead. Get them.
There were some people. I see a lot of chatter about food in the comments right now, and people segued into conversation about the keg and variety of things. But I did reach out to the one and only Paul Edmonds, because I saw some people talking about soup.
Oh, what soup? Yeah.
Paulie, given everything that's been going on, what type of soup would it be today if you could choose any type of soup? And he said this is a chicken and rice sort of day.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe
Like
something
not
hearty.
too cold.
Maybe,
Not too. Yeah.
so we'll see. So thanks to Mitchell for joining us as always while going through. Okay, so we talked about puck luck.
Yeah. Do you want to show the puck luck goal?
Sure, show it. It's an opportunity.
Yeah, this is when things look good.
Soft. Right-handed shot, right circle. And a clean win, and Kyle Connor starts right on his toes. He jumps onto this loose puck and immediately puts it to the weak side. Little puck luck here. That's something that the Jets have not had very much of. And this is an excellent sign, because usually when it turns.
That's like
It's an excellent sign, because when it turns, it usually turns.
right.
Not
So
much,
all
though.
the things are happening. So it looked good there. And then let's go to the end of the second period. Still 3-1. And the question is, where's 97?
3 Jets forwards near the puck. Picked up by Nugent Hopkins, under 30 left in the second. Long pass onto the tape of Bouchard. He got it to Draisaitl. He got it through to McDavid, and he scores! No one can pass on their backhand like Draisaitl. We saw it again right there. McDavid scores the goal, and it's 3-2.
There are going to be a lot of players that will be feeling the heat after that one.
Yeah. I'm sure that was
Video session.
Yeah.
That was not, I would say that was not a well played.
Yeah. And that, I think that's where you heard Arnie's frustration about, we have a job to do here.
Yeah.
I think that was one of those situations they could talk. I need comfort suit. Yes.
That's 100%. Today was an optional skate this morning, which I was actually surprised that it was even an optional skate, because typically with back-to-backs, we don't see anybody out on the ice in the morning, but they did have meetings here as well this morning. No projected lines as of that. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some changes, though. I think Eric Comrie will probably get the start tonight, being back-to-back. Don't know for sure, but I would guess so. But I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some changes to the lineup. If you remember yesterday, Vladimir Mesnikov as well as Gus Nyquist were healthy scratches. Colin Miller is available as an option on the blue line as well. So we'll have to wait and see what happens for warm-up, which gets going at 6:30. And of course, we'll be showing on TSN. But Adam Lowry and Dylan DeMello were the two players that came out and spoke to the media today. And here's just a small look at what they had to say.
Adam, in a 72-second address to the media after the game last night, I think Neil Pionk mentioned mental about 3 or 4 times, that it's a mental thing. I don't know if you guys have been working with a sports psychologist, but if you haven't, is it maybe time for that as well, to examine every possible way to get out of this?
I mean, we have the resources available. I think guys have their own. I think it's more just the collective. You know, we look at the start of the game, even in Vegas, you know, we've had leads, we've been playing well, and then, you know, it's when you haven't seen a positive result in so long, you want to do all the right things you want.
Okay. That's what Adam Lowry said. Okay. So there was a record set last night.
Yeah. How did it go?
Please.
It was.
Go.
Yeah, it was not pretty.
Right.
Sportsnet stats sending out last night. First, the Jets went over 54 minutes of real time between shots on goal in the second and third periods. But then the Jets have now lost 13 straight games decided by 1 goal, which is a new NHL record. It is unbelievable to go from 19-4-4 as a record in 1-goal games last year to now not just struggling in 1-goal games, but for it to have gone on to this extent each and every time it seems that you're in one, with 13 straight ones. So Scott O'Neill was asked about that stat in his morning availability.
So there's a stat on Sportsnet last night that you guys had lost 13 consecutive 1-goal games. Like in all the games, you win 1 goal 13 in a row. Shocked, surprised by that?
Shocked. Not shocked. I knew the stat already. Not that I had to read it on the TV. Shocked because last year and the year before, I think we were 1 and 2 in the league in 1-goal games. That's the shock for me. So falls on me, falls on our group. Like, that's what the NHL is. The teams that win those 1-goal games are the ones that play in the playoffs. It's plain and simple. You can't win in this league if you don't win. You stay in the 1-goal games. First of all, stay in them. Don't let it become 2 or 3. But the other side of it is find a way to come out on the right side of it with 2 points.
And that's fair. So that's why when you're coming on the wrong side of these 1-goal games, that's where, if I ever see people questioning effort, that's where I have a problem. Like, sometimes it's like mental errors, but there's nothing to me that has said this team has given up, because they're not. They're in these games. It's not like they're losing, and I said this many times, it's not like losing 5-1, 6-1, where they're not even in it from the start of the game. That is not the case. It's just one mistake here. And I think Dylan DeMello said it best. He's like, a lot of us don't want to be that guy that makes that mistake that costs us the game, which makes total sense when you're in a slump the way they are right now.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. So the Los Angeles Kings are here tonight. They're having a pretty good season, as they tend to do. Very good team. And we're pleased to bring in Jim Fox, longtime Los Angeles King and longtime broadcaster, Jim, before we get going here, I've never asked you this before, but what has it been like to work with your teammate going back to your days with the Kings? Like you work with Darrell Evans now on the broadcast. How great has that been to have a longtime teammate on the ice become a teammate in the broadcast booth?
Yeah, it makes it that much more comfortable because, of course, before games, prepping for games, but even during games, I'll bump into the radio booth. Darryl will come over the TV booth, just bouncing things off each other. I think that's so helpful because, sometimes during a game you get tunnel vision and you're just focusing on one thing and you get a different perspective. And I think Darryl and I are able to do that quite a bit back and forth. So yeah, very, very comfortable.
Before we get into what the Kings are doing, you're obviously aware of what's going on here in Winnipeg. And, the fact they've lost 13 one-goal games, and you watched them last year, you saw them 3 times. What do you make of teams when things go, like someone said to me the other day, this is sports sometimes. Sometimes everything goes wrong in a season. Is it that easy sometimes?
Yeah, I think, to me, a lot has to do with like scheduling sometimes and who you're playing and how that team is playing when you're playing them. If you're getting them hot, are you getting them cold? Those types of things. And it seems like when you get into a streak like the Jets are in, that happens quite a bit where you're just playing teams that are on top of their game, and all of a sudden you're trying to get over that hump and you're there, but then sometimes you get beat. I've been listening, I've been reading, and it seems like there are times though that the Jets are beating themselves too in situations, and trying to balance that. As Scott talked this morning about, when they're scoring. They find it difficult to defend. And then when they're defending well, they can't have that transition game to go on offense, and you can't get that balance going through. So as a player, you know what you do? I think everyone has to be honest. Sometimes you get that woe is me. Oh, everything's going bad, and you want someone to feel sorry for you. And one thing for sure, the other team that you're playing is not going to feel sorry for you.
You said that sometimes it depends on when you meet a team, how things are going for them. Obviously, this is the 3rd meeting with the Kings. How have things been going lately, though, for LA?
It's a great question. I think since the beginning of the year, and the Kings are right there around the playoffs, so it's not like it's fallen into the trash can, but I think there's been something missing compared to previous years. And if I could tell you what it is, I think it changes on any given night. The last game the Kings played against San Jose, it seemed like game management situations, changes. The Sharks got back to even strength with a man out of the box, and the Kings made a risky play at that point, turnover. Then you take a penalty. They go right on the power play. Overtime, drop pass by Kempe. That was, it wasn't as strong as it needed to be. Those game management situations, they creep up, and I think that's what's happening with the Kings. Now, having said that, I think in the last 7 to 8 to 9 to 10 games, they're doing a much better job in having a 5-man attack. If there's one thing I could pinpoint this year as far as struggles, it has been 5 men connected has not been there. And you want that defensively. Normally that's a defensive concept, but offensively too, when you create a turnover, can you attack with 4 or 5 guys? And the Kings are getting better at that. They're getting better on the forecheck the last little while. So that's one thing they would look to continue right now.
Jim, I know goaltending is such a big part of the National Hockey League, and there's not many 1-for-1 player trades. And I know it's been a while, but can you believe the return the Kings have got with that Pierre-Luc Dubois, Darcy Kemper trade?
Yeah, you know what? It's both teams. PL is hurt this year, but last year he went in there and did the job. And with Darcy, he was coming off a tough year, right? So there was the question mark surrounding him. You know what? He was our most consistent player last year, and he won the team MVP. It was well earned. Because of that, just approach was okay. It's going to be now this year when he came in, he had a little tough start. Again, the team is that way too. So, but now again, for the last, he had a little injury, came back, consistency there. That's something that, any team can use when you just know that you're going to get the solid play every single night. And Darcy brings that. So yeah, it was something that the Kings were a little light, right? They were a little thin in that area. And since Darcy's come aboard, Anton Forsberg is here now too. So
yeah,
that helps a little bit as far as solidifying that position. And, the Kings are known for shot suppression, right? They're known for tight defense. So you just need a guy to do the job. And Darcy has been consistent since he's got here.
Okay, so Canadian hockey fans, obviously, when the team was named the other day for the Olympics, they look at the goaltending as a weak point. Jordan Binnington's not on the top of his game right now. Is there a place where you can see Darcy Kemper being the starting goaltender when the Olympics begin next month?
If I took 2 years' numbers into account, I think he would be the guy.
Yeah.
Last year into this year and those things. Now, again, he was hurt last year, leading into the Four Nations. So he couldn't be available basically to them.
Right.
I think he would have been on their radar last year. But just because of the injury and the timing of the injury, they couldn't rely on him to be there. So, yeah, the other guys, Binnington has struggled.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any question. I think what everyone would try to put together is it the team or is it the individual?
Yes.
And that's where, in St. Louis, they have not had the year that they want. So that's going on that way. I just like Darcy's mentality too, his demeanor, especially in a short tournament. I think his style as a goaltender, when you're coming together in a 2-week tournament, I don't think you need any surprises unless you're head and shoulders the best goaltender. I don't think you want a dynamic guy. You want a guy that you can just understand what he's going to do and follow his motions. And Darcy, he plays it by the book. That's the way he approaches it. He plays it by the book.
I think that sometimes people don't think about that element of that it is just a short 2-week tournament, and that the way that you approach that in terms of building out your roster, or eventually what we'll see with the lines, could be different than what we would be looking at if you were looking at an 82-game season, obviously. But Jim, just quickly before we let you go, give us one thing that you're going to be watching for tonight in this game.
Well, you know what? I'm going to be looking for an assertive start from the Kings, and it is based on the recent record of the Jets. And, get that woe is me. Make sure there's no light at the end of the tunnel. At least you're giving them. And you know what? To be honest, guys, the Kings have had that. They've struggled sometimes with understanding that they defend so well, and they just say, okay, we'll defend, and they don't dictate. So that's what I'm looking for tonight. You'll see it on pinches in the offensive zone. You'll see it on defensemen joining the attack, that type of thing. That's what I would look for, especially early in the game, the first 10 minutes.
Jim, appreciate the time and your analysis as always, and wish you all the best, and looking forward to your broadcast tonight.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Jim.
Jim Fox joining us. That's so cool that someone plays a big ton of time in the National Hockey League together with Darrell Evans, and then he gets to work with them in the broadcast area as well. So I think that's a pretty cool setup.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Okay.
You had enough of me yet?
Well, maybe.
Still 3 minutes. We got to dangle the puck here for a little bit.
We don't really.
No.
We could just call it. I'm tired.
That's a funny part. We were going to start the show sitting down. I'm like, man, this looks like we're like mailing it in, and we're not.
No, but we're also we'll look to see what the Jets do tonight. Again, optional skate this morning. I think Eric Comrie will get the start. I did see a couple of people put in there about Jelkin, obviously making his NHL debut. If you haven't had the opportunity, I know that the Jets have put it on their social channels, but the video that from the security footage from the barber shop when he got the call. So that's pretty cool to see. His father was not able to make it in for the game last night, flying in from Moscow. So Jelkin will be, Scott O'Neill did already make that clear last night or this morning, that Jelkin will be in the lineup again tonight. So that'll be pretty cool for him. Played just over 6 minutes of ice time. You mentioned that obviously with the Draisaitl and McDavid matchup being what it was, that he wasn't able to get as much time. But like what we saw from him, this game against LA is going to look very different than what we saw against Edmonton. This is not Jamie's favorite matchup, just because it is a little bit more of
Jim just talked about you just like the suppression.
Yeah. It's just kind of, and not even slug it out. It's just.
Well, the question was brought up, like you go from a kind of not so much wide open, but now it's like LA's very patient. And they just wait for you to make mistakes. And it's been very methodical, and it's not exactly entertaining, but it works for them. So the Jets just can't play into that. And hopefully, again, as Jim just said, you have to force the issue rather than only defend. And I can understand where the Jets are feeling right now, because you're like, oh man, am I not defending enough? Am I doing too much offense? Hopefully some questions get answered tonight, and much like a result in their favor. It's there, man. It's like they're right on the cusp, I feel like. So it's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Logan Stanley also drew, the applause from the fans tonight. I said, I have never seen a player in this market have a 180 turn when it comes to the way that fans have embraced him now versus
Yeah.
the way that it was early on in his career, which is great to see. But this,
See a positive, introduce a positive, and leave with a positive.
all right. Well, then
Yeah.
we're going to leave it that.
Yeah.
Jilkin's still in.
Yeah.
People love Stanley.
They're playing. So how many Stanley jerseys are being sold? Way more. These hats are 30% off.
Also a positive.
Yeah. See, we can do this all day.
Sunday, we are going to be back,
10:30.
win or lose.
Yes.
But we are going to be back at 10:30 on Sunday. So make sure that you have your notifications on so that you don't forget about it. You can start your morning with us because it is a 1 p.m. game here at Kendall Life Center against the New Jersey Devils. So we got to go early on this one. Jamie is going to be by himself for several portions of it because I've got some TSN stuff that I have to do at the same time for the broadcast.
Sasha Bomidian's going to join us.
So I think I've said
Gold
this to
medalist.
all of. I think I've said to all of you before. You just keep them honest.
Yeah.
And feel free to throw him under the bus. Inevitably,
and
in the
ask a
comments,
lot of questions.
You let me know if he hasn't turned the volume on.
Oh my gosh. Like,
It's okay,
see,
buddy.
you can't let things go. Like it was just technology let us down, not me.
On a positive note,
Yeah.
you have a chance to redeem yourself on Sunday.
Right. By myself.
We have faith in you.
I can't believe you're mailing it in already in game 44.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Doing 2 shows simultaneously is mailing it in. But okay.
Well, whatever.
Cool.
Whatever
All
you
right.
call it. I just call it like not prioritizing.
We need a break from each other. this
That's like 3 days.
compressed schedule. Forget them
Wow.
over there.
Yeah. When I looked at this home sign, I'm like, that's a lot of less. That's a lot. See like the office.
Oh,
and down
it's
here.
exhausting.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. We've had enough.
I've not had enough of you
Winnipeg's-
guys.
you
Can't wait to
know.
see you guys on Sunday.
Yeah, Winnipeg Sports Talk started now. There'll be lots of Jets talk, you know that. And tonight's game, as always, on CJOB, and you can catch it on TSN as well.
Thanks everybody for watching.
Thanks for checking in.